things don't always go to plan, like I said earlier. The pyro gauge was seized in there and the thread stripped out, and I was hoping to just cut it off, drive it through to the exhaust, take the bottom of the exhaust out, take the bit of the plug out and put the new pyro gauge in, but that doesn't work. So then I thought I'll take the dump pipe off, sheared the stud. Alright everyone, just an update. We've got the patrol booked in to get the exhaust fixed, to get the dump pipe taken off and the back of the turbo. They've got to get access to that, so they'll have to take the turbo off, maybe the manifold. I'm real nervous the last couple of days, hoping they can do this, hoping nothing else goes wrong, hoping it doesn't cost too much. We're on a budget, we don't have endless money, you know, we got a mortgage, we got loans, and we got rates and all the bills to pay, just like everyone else. We're not going to have an income for 6 months, so you know, we can't afford to spend big money on things we don't need to spend money on. You know, I don't mind spending money where we have to, but don't like doing things twice, that's for sure. So yeah, really nervous about this. I just hope they can do it. I hope they do a good job. And I hope nothing goes wrong. So another thing, worried about, WA's finally opened up to Queenslanders. We can go on without quarantine. Hooray! The next day they get a case. There's an outbreak, and they're saying don't come to WA. So we're still a couple of weeks out, so hopefully they can get under control and hopefully nothing else happens. But you know, in a heartbeat it could just change, and you know, the whole trip's got to change. This trip we are planning, a lot of it is in WA. We haven't seen the state, we've never been there, so that's the whole reason for this trip. It's such a long way to get there. There's no point going for a week or two. You really want to see it, you got to spend a couple of months there, see it once, and then you know, it might be 10 years before we get back to the place. So a lot hinges on what their restrictions are. If we can't get in at all, do we pull the pin a week or two out? You know, it's going to be real hard with both of us have jobs. How do we go about that? Do we go and just see Northern Territory and South Australia, spend 6 months there? But you know, to me that's, you know, we've seen a lot of those states, not all of it. I'm sure we could spend 6 months there, but we've had it in our minds to go see WA. So yeah, let's see what happens. Fingers crossed it all works out. But yeah, it has been so stressful, this trip, planning this trip, getting the car ready, it's getting the camper ready, changing our setup. It's been so much work. Weekends, long nights after work, set of people, you know, mates going out, you know, having a good time. I'm in the shed working and changing things and getting things so they work smoothly and fast. Yeah, it's been it's exhausting almost, and I don't know, I just feel like I'm ready for a holiday, a proper holiday. So let's see how this goes. Oh, there she is. There she is.
Busy in here. It's parks.
No, they're always busy.
Oh.
You can tell they do a good job. They're always busy. All right, just down here to pick up the patrol. It's been down here for a week, so I haven't got the bill yet, but these guys do a good job. So they've got some big trucks around here. Look at this. They've got some, they're in the turbos. They know their turbos. These guys are always busy, so quite lucky they could do it for us. So they've had a hell of a job. had to change one of the studs on the manifold. That was sheared off. And the pyro gauge, they've got that all hooked up, and the studs on the back of the turbo. Well, that's a bit of relief. My stomach was knots over this. I didn't know what this was going to cost. The bill came in half of what I expected. So these boys done a top job. It wasn't easy. They had to get a specialist in to do the thread. I didn't even know they could do that, get a specialist in. Mate, what a good job. Darren from Muffler Madness, thank you so much, mate. You have saved our bacon. I've got so much work still to do, and there's only a certain amount of weekends to do it, and so, mate, thank you so much. I'll be bringing about a bottle of whiskey to you guys next week. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate that. Now I'm going to get home and start pulling things apart again. Oh, well, what a weekend. Today's Sunday. Last night I was up to about 9 o'clock working on the car. Today it's now 1 o'clock, 1:30. Had to go for a test drive, see the pyro gauge is working. Man, I hate doing things twice. So the front spotlights weren't working. So the wiring I didn't do myself. I changed the spotlight and I just joined onto their wiring, but looking at it now, I don't even know how it was working. They negative earthed it, so to me that doesn't make any sense. It was going from the headlight to the switch, and then instead of going to the relay, it was going to the earth. So I don't know how that, I can't understand how that was working. If you know how that was working, put a comment in. So I had to rip it all out and do it all again, but I made my own harness rather than buy one, so I can get the lengths that I wanted and the thicknesses where I needed it. It's working great now. The pyro gauge, I had a pyro gauge in, so this is the second one. Done it twice now. So, but it's sitting on 100. I don't know if it's working or not. It doesn't go up when you rev it, but it might need load. We're used to the digital one where you can see every degree. You know, you turn it on and it's a 40-degree day, it'll say 40 degrees. It's just unfortunate. Sometimes you got to do things twice, otherwise 3 times. So go for a test drive and see if this exhaust temp comes on. Oh, maybe. Oh, yes! I thought I'd wired it wrong or something. We get the light come on, I couldn't get the exhaust temp to come up. But like I said, I think maybe because it was just idling. It's got to have a bit of load. Oh, the control feels fast and no weight in it. So not used to it. So doing the big lap on a budget means doing things yourself. You'll save a lot more money if you don't have to pay for labour. So we're right now, one of the last things we can do is re-grease the front wheel bearings. They need doing every 25,000 kilometres. So if I do it now, don't have to do it at all on the trip. Another good thing of doing it yourself at home is the skill you've got. If you're out on the tracks and a wheel bearing fails, and you should carry a spare set of wheel bearings, you know how to do it, and use the tools that you've got in the car. That way you know you've got the right tools. So that's just one of the tips we do. So yeah, save a lot of money if you can do it yourself. You can do a wheel rotation while we're at it and got the car jacked it up. And we're just going to run through and check a few things, make sure all the nuts and bolts are all tight, and especially things like the brake calipers. There's 2 bolts on the back. A lot of the times when your brakes get replaced, they don't change the spring washers, so something to look for. Check they're tight. If they're loose, get new spring washers now before you leave home. I was hoping to have everything done by now, but still pulling things apart. So I'm just sorting out some wiring on the back end of the Patrol. Just cleaning up the tow bar a bit and making sure everything's up to scratch with that. And I've just noticed that the power steering system's leaking a little bit. So we replaced the hose and the pump, and I got alloy crush washers. I thought it was them, but nah, it's the hose. Brand new hose. It's 2 months old and it's leaking. And it really drives me nuts because the old system wasn't leaking. I just did preventative maintenance, changed it so if something happened on our trip, there was, no question, it's already been changed. Yeah, so to have new parts failing, the water pump and now this, Oh, I'm doing my head in. I'm doing my head in. This car was reliable until put new parts on it. So one of the things we want to do is give the car a good wash before we go, and that means we're going to take the roof racks off. So not easy when it weighs about 80 kilos all up, bearing on this. So rigged up some pulleys and we'll use the winch to get it up. Bacon, eggs, breakfast. Oh wait, poached eggs on muffin. So you probably think, where's Larissa while you're doing all this work? Well, Larissa's been busy doing the kids. I've got a glass of water coming too. She's been busy getting all their school stuff sorted, all their clothes, making sure I'm fed and I drink water. Thanks, buddy. So she's been busy doing that while I've been doing all the gear. It's not much she can really do with this side of things. You got to do it right, and you got to have half an idea what to do. Oh, sorry, it's hot. So yeah, she's been busy, and the more she does with the kids, gives me the time to do this, even though I'd rather be spending time with the kids, but she's letting me do this. So yeah, I'm gonna have some breakfast and get back into polishing. By the way, it's a Sunday morning. It's like 6 o'clock in the morning. How many of you guys out there polishing your car at 6 in the morning? And it's not just this Sunday, it's every Sunday I've been working on this bloody thing. Alright, better get back to it. Alright, so now the roof rack's off. Everything's nice and clean. Gonna give it a good polish and a wax, because it's gonna be, the roof rack's going to be back on. It's going to be a while before it gets another good wash. So yeah, do it all properly before we leave, and that way on the trip, yeah, less dramas, less things to worry about. Alright, let's get into it. So it's really hard to stay positive and stay motivated. It's sort of wearing me down. There's a lot to be done still, but we're nearly there. We're at the end of the light, so we just got to keep pushing through it, and just know what's at the end. So 6 months, no working, hopefully no working on the car, no worrying about the house, no worrying about work, none of those problems. So just got to stay motivated and get to the end. We're still a month out, but it's been hard going. It's wearing me down. Losing a lot of time where you'd be playing with the kids, just keeping the house up to date and things like that, just spending so much time on all our gear, every weekend, every after work, just constantly doing things. So that's the problem when you're on a budget though. You've got to do it yourself. If you're paying for labour, we wouldn't be able to afford a trip like this if we had to pay for people to do the work, or if we bought a new car, the trip wouldn't happen. So we've got to do the trip with what we've got, and we've got to do the trip ourselves and do all the work. And the good thing about doing the work yourself is you know the car and the trailer inside out, you know your gear. If something's breaking, you know how to fix it. Yeah, so just got to knuckle down, keep positive, keep going. Alright, so while the roof racks are off, I'm going to give them a spray of lanolin. Don't use this on your car. It's on your roof racks or under your trailer, but everything sticks to this. Sand, salt, not salt, sand and dust and everything. So rather than respraying the roof racks, which the paint wouldn't stick, we'll spray some of this on. It's pretty easy, it's $10. Spray it all and its stuff stays, because it's so sticky, it stays on forever. Almost forever, feels like forever. But don't spray it on your car. Horrible stuff.
you want me to stop?
Nothing won't be lost if you try. I'm pretty sure it's worth. You'll change your life. Nothing won't be lost if you dive so deep into.
He gets off for breakfast, he does. You probably can't see him, it's creepy down there.